Trev is here, and you know why we love Thursdays.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm great.
Today feels like it's Friday light.
It's the pre-party,
Pre-party to the party,
right?
and we're ready for car culture. As
Yes.
always, we got good content.
Great to see you as always. And you've been very busy throughout the week. You can run us through your schedule.
Yes, so it's been a very interesting week. We've just actually, I'm just from filming the new Range Rover Sport,
Yeah.
which is darling to many. So we've got the high-powered supercharged SVR. So if you know a thing or two about this Range Rover, it's really a beast. It sounds like it's like a dragon. It's really loud, really fast. So if you love that kind of performance, tune in this Sunday, 6:30 p.m. KTN Home. Get a chance to watch it and see some of the behind the scenes, some of the content we shot on our Instagram pages on YouTube. So CBBT_TV.
Well said. I've seen a lot of feedback here on the timeline. Keep those comments coming. We are still live on 94.4. And today on Car Culture, we're going to be learning something new. And I'm very interested in this one. Today's topic is how to manage clogging of DPF filters in modern diesel vehicles.
Yes.
That's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful. So, in my work, I get to interact with so many people, owners of diesel vehicles, and they're having very interesting journeys. So, I made just a chance to just talk about that issue of diesel particulate filter. But before we dive deep into it, what is a diesel particulate filter? For those who don't understand. So, modern diesel engines do have something called a particulate filter. So the particulate filter is like a honeycomb. It's made out of rhombium. There is they're called precious metals. They basically reduce the amount of sulfur, carbon, and nitrous oxides from getting outside into the atmosphere. So it basically filters. It's like a kichungi. So you know how you sieve your tea? It's the same thing. Now, these cars are built primarily for the advanced markets, markets like the United States, Japan, Europe, where they have very stringent air quality issues. And many of these diesel engines never used to have this thing before, but because of these emissions, they had to put a filter to reduce the amount of carbon dioxide and nitrous oxide that is getting out of the engine. To that effect, the diesel engines have become cleaner and cleaner over the years, and they're using high quality, low sulfur diesel in their vehicles. Now, the problem is in Europe, where the standards are Euro 5, Euro 6, the sulfur content in every fuel is very, very low. It's like 0.05 ppm. That's the measurement they use. ppm is parts particulate matter of sulfur. That's the measurement, all right? When it comes to Kenya, we have 10 times more sulfur in our fuel, all right? So what happens? So you buy a car from Japan or UK or Singapore, you put in the diesel, and the moment it lands here, the sulfur starts building up and clogging the DPF because, at high temperature, sulfur creates a deposit on the honeycomb filter, all right? So after some time, you start noticing that the car doesn't give you that performance you normally have normally. It's like it's slowing down. It's like it's being choked. All right. And at some point, for those sensitive engines, the check engine light will come in, and there'll be like like an icon for an exhaust with a bit of heat on it. So people don't know what that is, but basically it's a DPF. It's a DPF warning that it's getting clogged. Now the DPF has a sensor inside. It's called an oxygen sensor. So this oxygen sensor communicates with the engine. Every time it measures continuously what amount of carbon dioxide is coming out, what amount of nitrous oxides are coming out, and it feels that the fuel ratio is imbalance. It will send a message back to the ECU, which is the brain of the car, and adjust the fuel accordingly to ensure that it still emits the correct amount of emissions that it has been programmed for. But unfortunately, because our sulfur content is high, it blocks. So the soot from carbon, which is a product of combustion, the sulfur clogs it up, and then you realize the car is losing performance, and the vehicle will get into something called the safe mode. Safe mode is basically it cuts out all the power because it identifies there's a problem with the system, so you need to attend to it. All right. Now, normally, these cars require regeneration. So regeneration basically is clearing off that cloggedness. And most manufacturers would recommend that, after every month, go to bypass, drive it hard to remove the soot. It's called regeneration, but that sometimes fails if the clogging is too much. So many people are suffering out here because, number one, our mechanics are not that informed about DPFs, so they'll tell you all sorts of things. Hii gari yako ni kama gearbox imeharibika, and it's not the problem. Hii gari yako turbo yako imeharibika, and it is affecting everyone. And in particular, Mazda people are suffering. Mazda CX-5 diesel. It's a fantastic car, but because of that DPF, it is bringing issues. So you think that either you have an engine knock or there's something wrong with the engine. So the question would be, how do you deal with clearing of this DPF? Because it's a big issue. Yes.
So we're talking about the DPF filters.
Yes.
And there's a platform where you can send in the questions. That's Tracetix F1 Spice Drive. And of course, when it comes to clogging in your car, in your engine, we've seen a lot of comments and questions coming in. What should you do when the DPF light comes on?
So two things. There's something called manual regeneration. So sometimes let's assume you're not like me, you're not like Big Boy Trev, like stuff about how to deal with engines. So the first thing you probably would do is to approach your service dealer. When I say service dealer, it's probably, like if it's Mazda, it's CMC, if it is Volkswagen, it is DT Dobby. Approach them. Or even the reputable mechanics who understand what is happening with the car. What they'll do, they'll offer you two services. They'll tell you, we can delete the DPF. Delete means removing it. Now, deleting works. However, the check engine light will always be on because the sensor is not receiving information from the DPF. And that presents a myriad of problems. So you're basically nipping it off, but not solving the whole problem. So there are a couple of guys who are doing an amazing job. There's some guys called Superflow. They're exhaust guys. There's Micron. There are quite a number in industrial areas. So what they do is they do manual regeneration. So they remove the catalytic converter. It's on the exhaust. They remove it. Then they pass hot air, like pressure. It's not like, the pressure for washing your car. But now it's just air, hot air at very high temperature to remove the clogging and the soot. So that one is very possible if the clogging is minus, it's about 50%. So it's half clogged. It's not full because, you can see, literally can see it's clogged. So if you see through and it's like half, you do manual regeneration. If it reaches 70%, which is like your car is really starving of, it's not breathing properly, then they use solvents. So they pour in solvents on the DPF to remove the soot, the carbon, the sulfur, so that it clears that. Then they do a high pressure, removal of this gunk. But if your car is fully clogged and it's choked completely, what they do, they rebuild the DPF. So they remove the DPF, remove the honeycomb filter, and apparently these guys do have like a localized high flow honeycomb filter that allows air to pass in, and the material that they use it's a highly specialized steel material that doesn't allow sulfur to clog. So basically, when the sulfur gets onto the surface, it doesn't stick onto it and build up. So the gunk is removed away. So that high flow filter is rebuilt, and you drive home happy because your car now is breathing perfectly.
I like the sound of that. There's a solution for everything. And of course, you have to engage the experts. That's where you come in. There's people like me. If I had that kind of situation, I wouldn't even know what to do and where to start. And you've mentioned a couple of places where you can get this kind of help. We're going to be sharing that on our social media. And of course, you can still follow Car Culture with Big Boy Trev.
If you want any car content, be it maintenance, road safety, technology, the latest cars that are coming into the country, please go to YouTube, CBBT_TV. You get a lot of stuff. Comment, like, subscribe, and always uploading new stuff every week. Actually, 3 times a week. So you're able to do that. And also the content is also shared on our Facebook platform, our Instagram, and our Twitter. And we have conversations. So for like today, with that conversation extends all the way to Twitter. So CBBT_TV and Facebook as well. You can also get some of the content as well on the newspaper every Wednesday. So standard newspaper on the Motor Digest, you can get a lot of content I write every Wednesday. And on Friday tomorrow on the Nairobian. So please make sure you grab a copy of that newspaper.
Good job. You work way too hard. Today we're talking about all the people that make sure that, you put in the work. We're talking about bosses. So we're
Yes.
going to be getting into that conversation in a bit. On today on Car Culture, we've been talking about how to manage clogging of DPF filters in modern diesel vehicles. You touched on the diesel particulate filter,
Yes.
DPF, and the purpose. And what you do when the DPF light comes on. And you said that to us. And I've got one more question. When it comes to replacement
Yes.
of the filters in modern diesel vehicles, what's your take?
It happens as a last solution. If the manual regeneration or using of solvents to remove the gunk in the filter doesn't work, then you just have to replace it. And the funny thing is, right now, the DPF is being stolen by mechs, by people. So you
What?
park your car. Yes, the material that is inside the DPF is precious metal. It's rhodium. Some cars have platinum. So people remove that and go and sell. It fetches a high price. So be careful.
How much
Anywhere
are we
you park.
talking, Trev?
A good catalytic converter / DPF, because it's in the whole system, would probably cost you anywhere between 10 to 15k. Yes, that is the amount of money they sell. So it means they remove the honeycomb, the housing. So it's very lucrative. So be careful wherever you park. And people have known the secret. And it's not only in Kenya, it happens everywhere in the world. Even in the States, if you check out how catalytic converters are being stolen, you'd laugh. So somebody comes, parks their car next to yours. As you do your shopping, somebody goes under, and they're very skilled. They do it in under 2 minutes. Like, get in, remove it, it's out, and you go. So when you come back, you start the car, it makes that brrr sound, and your car probably is very silent. So you need to really worry about that. But replacing it is extremely important. Use the locally made materials because they last. It's called a high flow material because it allows air to come out. So the engine works in a very funny way. There's something called equilibrium. So the air getting in should be equal to the air getting out. So if there's an imbalance, then you have backfires. All right. So the way they've tuned the system, if you remove it or it's clogged, then the vehicle will not perform as optimally it should be, because it uses atmospheric pressure to combust the fuel and the air in together. So again, it's very important to replace that to get maximum life out of your vehicle.
I like that you mentioned that it's the last resort.
Yes.
And if you maintain your car, do the right thing. When it comes to this particular vehicle,
Yes.
how frequently should you have this checked?
DPF, depending on how you drive it, yearly. There's some cars, if you're somebody who does high mileage, of course you'll expect it to clog up maybe 6 months, but it's normally yearly. But do the manual regeneration, which works extremely well. And it's not only Mazdas. You have even Mercedes-Benz diesels that have the same issue. Toyota Fortuners have the same issues, and Hiluxes from abroad. I mean, even the BMWs, Audis, they have. If you have a diesel vehicle, just know it's modern, it's got a DPF. So here's the difference. Cars that are coming into the country, so they're built for this market, do not have DPFs because we do not have an emission law in place.
Right.
Right? And the reason is because once they clog, it presents problems with warranties. So a lot of the manufacturers do not add DPF as an option. So it comes as a normal manifold, and it's out there.
Well,
So
that's
the difference.
interesting.
Yeah, so that's why you'll find the diesels that are built for this market do not have DPFs. So for the Prado, for example, have a DPF. If it's sold and bought locally, it doesn't have a DPF. But it comes from South Africa or Singapore or the UK, it has a DPF.
Great stuff. Like, I'm so surprised by that. And you're talking about annually, and depending on how things are, how frequently you drive, and your lifestyle, whatever, you're talking 6 months. So I'm loving this conversation. Get on the hashtag Car Culture KE Trace Sticks F1. Hit us up with your questions, and we've got a battle between Shaggy and this lady right here, Evie Sands. She's got Angel of the Morning. Yes, that song by Shaggy and Rayvon was sampled. It is so genius. They did it really well. We're going to play it one more time in case you didn't hear it or you want to hear it again. It is Car Culture with Big Boy Trev. Today we're talking about how to manage clogging of DPF filters in modern diesel vehicles. I love this.